our buying account. So, do we want to introduce Glenn right now, or wait for the
go
body
ahead.
to come on?
Whatever you guys, is a body coming on, Renee?
Yes,
Okay.
she is.
Do you want to wait for her to come on, or do you want to just go ahead and
Doesn't
start?
matter to me. I mean, if anybody has questions, my job in this, guys, Chuck and Renee, is to basically take the insurance adjuster's estimate and the Metro estimate and come up with a mutual mutual agreeable number.
Okay.
So that's what the appraisal process does. Neither one of us is hired by either Metro or the insurance company per se. We don't work for them. I'm working on behalf of the customer. They're working on behalf of the insurance company, but per se, they have autonomy. So we're not allowed to be dictated to by anybody. We just look at the facts.
Right.
How long you been doing this?
I've been doing appraising for the last 10 years. I've been doing insurance for the last 35 years.
Wow.
I carry more licenses than most people. As Kate knows, I'm a licensed agent. I teach policy. We do policies on Saturday mornings. We go through the various policies. We're going to start doing that again. Because there's more to a policy than just the deck page. An HO3, which is a common policy, guys, is everything's covered except what's excluded or limited under that policy. So looking at a deck page, it only gives us the numbers. It doesn't tell us it's really just the potatoes, but not the meat, is the nicest way of putting it. Example would be you have a coverage claim under an Allstate policy, and they're going to give you repairs to the roof. But there's a roof schedule. It'll tell you what they get. So I have a covered claim, but they're only going to give me 25 cents on the dollar because that roof is 20 years old. So anytime, guys, when you get a claim, you always get the current policy, that relates to that claim. Kate's heard me say this numerous times.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of homeowners just trust that their agent is getting them the best policy, but then at the same time they're demanding a low premium, and just to get that policy written and paid for, a lot of times the agents are just gonna take away coverages in order to get the price the homeowner wants.
Or increase the deductible.
Yeah.
There's a flat deductible, there's a percentage deductible, guys. I imagine, Renee, this truck, you may not, just because you just came in. So if I take a 1% of a house, and the house is worth $300,000, that deductible is $3,000. Imagine down in Florida, now that deductible has now become $15,000 for a 5%. Or how about a 10% for $30,000? Yes, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah, like you said, this is something that I never knew. Okay.
Right. I mean, I've seen it. The other thing to understand is that agent represents the insurance company, not the homeowner. And people don't understand. If you don't put a claim in, they get a contingency bonus, and you can take that as gospel, since I'm a licensed agent in the 48 contiguous states. They don't want you to put that claim in. Right. You're taking money out of their pocket.
Right.
So what I tell people always to do is, when you go out there and you write a claim, read that policy. It may not be the most advantageous time to put that claim in. Example is, there's a roof claim, there's a windstorm claim to that house, but yet they have a 1%, 5% roof schedule, whatever. It may not be advantageous to put that claim in. Where if they change the policy, then it's advantageous for the next time something happens. The unknown, go ahead, Renee.
No, I don't have nothing.
No, I was going to say, by changing the policy, you mean to talk to the agent to take away that roof schedule, right?
Yeah, roof schedule, change the deductible, because you guys are supposed to be experts in reading the policy.
Mm-hmm.
and advising. That's why we do a policy review.
Correct.
And if you put a claim in, it's held against the person, and suddenly if they don't make the necessary repairs because there's not enough money, or a roof schedule deductible, and they don't make the repairs, next time they have a claim under that peril, they will not get covered because they have not made the necessary repairs to fix the house.
Yeah,
Is that only on the first time that they did that and the claim and they put a claim in and they just didn't do the work? They kept the money, but they spent it. So would that impact them every time on any insurance that they may have coverage through?
Absolutely, they're all interconnected.
Wow.
They are now related. And never think that an insurance adjuster doesn't know his associate in another company. They will call each other.
Mm.
You know, I had a case maybe 3-4 months ago. The other appraiser looked at me and said, "You think this is an old roof?" And I said, "Absolutely." He said, "This is the 8th claim." He said, "This was denied, this was paid, and we are not going to make another payment because it was paid and was never repaired."
oh wow.
Mm.
Now another thing about the high deductible is that when the damages don't um, equal up to the deductible, the insurance company doesn't have to pay you anything, right?
Correct. That's your portion of the claim. And like Kay said, an agent will sell based on premium. So if you go in and say, the guy down the block, Liberty Mutual, is offering me a premium of $1,000 for my house, and you're telling me it's going to be $1,200, that person is going to start gutting the policy. It's human nature. But the homeowner or the client doesn't understand what they're giving up because it's never explained to them.
Now, in your experience selling policies, how difficult or easy is it to convince the homeowner to get the coverages versus buying by price?
That's really tough because most people do it based on price. They never, I'll take out $1,000. I'll take out 2,500, 5,000. Put it away for the rainy day if something happens to my roof. I mean, majority of the claims will either be water damage or roof. Wind or hail to a roof. And then people say, "I'll put the money away." They never do. I don't have the money, and you can't go to a person and say, "By the way, the contractor's going to cut their fees down 2,500, $5,000, 10,000, whatever it is, to cover the shortfall." So it's tough, because and then then you say to the person, "Well, you understand what's going to happen. I can't guarantee it, but you've had windstorm in this area, last year, 2 years. So we have the capacity to see what the people, what has happened in that area for the last 5, 10 years."
So what I don't understand is when they look at the amount that it's going to cost to replace a roof,
Mm-hmm.
and the insurance company undercuts them by giving them like maybe $6,000. I had somebody who said they got $2,000 to get a new roof put on. She said this is not going to do it.
No, because now we're getting into, Renee, whether you have code. Code means that I have to put on up here. We have ice and water shield to prevent the ice damming, which means that the gutter, the ice in the gutters doesn't go underneath the first layers of the shingles. That's what ice shield is. We're required to have it. Now, I don't have it on my policy. You're not obligated to pay a drip edge. I don't have it. It wasn't on my house. You're not going to pay for it. So, we have to review every policy and every estimate to make sure the insurance company's not undercutting.
Okay.
When I do my estimates, I throw every code in there. I have the capacity to do so because I have a subscription to the International Building Code. I also have one click, and I'll tell when I do my estimates, I give the one click to show that the person, who to contact and why the contractor is required to do it. I've argued with Allstate, State Farm, Farm Family, as long as they have the coverage, then they're obligated to do so by the county, state, municipality, and they'll tell them who it is.
Now, how I know that you also subscribe to Exactimate for continuous training. Uh, and I know that we've heard of this new, I guess, competitor to Exactimate. How, but do you prefer? First question is, do you prefer Exactimate over the new one? I don't know.
I don't like Sibili. Most
Huh?
adjusters don't. It's not as easy to use.
Oh.
On the other side of it, I'm not required to write an estimate in Sibili. I'm required to write an estimate like you guys are if you're an adjuster in Exactimate.
Okay. Um, I guess how accurate do you, just based on your experience, how accurate do you think Exactimate is when you're using it to estimate the damages in the homes?
We put the scope in.
Mhm.
We put the square footage in. Do I think it's accurate? The pricing is 3 to 6 months behind. We change pricing all the time.
Okay.
Because it's 3 to 6 months behind. I will call Home Depot, Lowe's, another supply company, and ask what the price is. Exactimate goes by a location indicator, which says, here's the zip code, here's the state, here's the town. Everything can change. Like Chuck knows, if you're selling a house, well, you're traveling, not a house salesperson, but on the different side of a block, it can change drastically. Or if you go into to a country, depends on the area of the country. I mean, it all depends. It depends on the person. Depends on the time of year, how many storms we've had, supply and demand. If there's more demand and less supply, the prices go up. The price of the contractor goes up. The price of the labor goes up because this price of, these guys want more money to do the same job that they did 6 months ago. And Exactimate doesn't keep pace.
Now, how is it that when we submit our estimates to the insurance companies, they come back with a lot of pushback because they don't agree, although they're supposedly using Exactimate too?
Because they're not qualified to use Exactimate.
Okay.
Okay. I'm part of an Exactimate class, Exactimate mastery. And Elena Wilson says 98% of the adjusters are not qualified to use Exactimate or don't know how to use it correctly. That's not coming from me. That's coming from a teacher from Exactimate.
Okay, is that?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is that by design?
Pretty much. I mean, they send out fourth-rate adjusters who are not qualified. They will not put stuff in. You have to have doors and windows in Exactimate. You have to have all the line items. I spoke to many adjusters who tell me, well, my guys are, I'm a staff adjuster. I shouldn't say staff, desk adjuster. And my independent, only wrote to paint the underside of the sheetrock. And my answer is, you're giving me the roof. What's in between? I don't know. Well, there's the answer. I don't know is not an answer, guys. If your adjuster doesn't go up into that attic and check the insulation, you're losing money. If you're not, mitigating the rafters, the joists, the sheathing, whatever's up there, you're losing money.
Okay. That's pretty good to know. Like none of us are adjusters, but
Right.
I know that I plan on being one. And like I've never been able to climb up on the into the attic. First of all, I'm a little bit afraid of heights, but two, I just don't know what to look for when I get up there.
I mean, you're really looking to see if the insulation is matted. Is it discolored?
Uh-huh.
If you have water stains on the ceilings, that means it came in through the roof.
Uh-huh.
Or it came in through the siding. It happens. Water seepage is covered under a policy, an HO3. HO2 has to be named. It has to be an opening, either a siding or the roof. Something has to cause it to open. That's a discussion for another day. Going over policies. What I tell everybody is just go into a house, talk to your adjuster, whoever's handling the claim, and ask him, why didn't you cover that? Why aren't you suggesting this? Did you go up into the attic? Did you look behind? I have a smoke claim. Did you take off the outlet cover to see if the smoke went behind the outlets, switches? Do you smell anything? You have to ask the relevant questions.
Do you ever thought about doing any training for Metro besides because I know you're busy, but you have a wealth of knowledge.
I used to train Renee on Saturday mornings between 9 o'clock and 10:30 K. Is that about right?
Yeah, you guys aren't doing the training anymore, right? You and Sean?
We weren't doing it anymore because no one was showing up, but we're going to start it again. I went through policies, Renee, because you guys aren't taught the gist of the policies. There's more than HO3, and there's more than what's really covered. Unless you start delving into it. An example would be, how long did the water leak around the toilet? Repeated seepage over a period of time excluded. It's the way you say things. Or there's a sewage, backup in my basement. What caused it? I just had one up here. I'm a licensed mitigator too, so I run crews in Pennsylvania. And my boss had a blockage, and he told the agent that it was a sewer backup, and there was no coverage because he doesn't have it. I said no. Rotor went down 10 feet from the lead in, which was a pipe. When they went backwards into the house, and there was a blockage. There was hair, and there was other things blocking the waste pipe. That's covered. That's part of your plumbing system. It's on the resident premises. But it's the way that your customer says that the claim to the insurance company.
Yeah, and a lot of times the homeowners don't really know how to analyze what happened.
Right.
Like you said, they thought it was a water backup when really it's a blockage. And there is no way they can really know, right?
Right, but
They're just guessing.
Right. Rotor report. Your plumber, your electrician, your HVAC guy is the most important person out there. Because they'll tell you what really occurred. You ask the customer. We have puffbacks up here. Down south, because you guys have gas. Either I think, Chuck, you're in Virginia, Chuck?
I'm in DC.
DC. So
yeah,
you would also have a puffback because there's oil heat. Well, look who joined us, the corporate trainer.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Where are you? Cindy, where are you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I'm in visiting the redneck in West Virginia.
Oh, really? That's wonderful. How is he?
He is doing very well.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing an appraisal, which will end up going to an umpire, which will end up going to an unfair claims practice because the insurance company's jerking around the homeowner.
So I got a response because that appraisal, we sent the language and everything, and I even sent the complaint to the state, and they still came back that we're fighting over coverage and not the amount, even though the amount was in their estimate initially.
Yes.
And we're still, and I'm like, man, I feel so, and truthfully, I'm only fighting it to win, to be honest, because it's only maybe $2,000 or that Metro would get. But I'm just like, man, I really want to be able to stay. I really want this IA to get fired, to be honest, because he doesn't know what he's doing. So, but it's like they're sticking behind him for some reason. They're loyal to the guy.
Well, they always are. That's the whole thing. They're going to stick to their guns. Right, wrong.
So, I'm also not sure what subject you guys have been on, but I would love to kind of talk to you about Xactimate a little bit and your knowledge there.
We were discussing coverages and things like that, and Renee was inquiring, I should say, whether I did teaching. So I think we're going to start the teaching again.
Well, I mean, if we have, you know, the audience to send you, that would be cool if we started teaching again on the coverages.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should talk to Sean and
Yeah,
put
I
it
think
together.
yeah, I think the summer kind of he's been on vacation. The summer's been a little bit more challenging.
Let's do it
Um,
September.
okay, right. But I'm wondering because I'm just curious for somebody like yourself, have we talked about how you even got started in the business?
Now we were waiting for
Yep.
you.
No, we
Oh,
haven't
y'all
we
should have
haven't done
called
that.
me.
No.
Y'all should have called me. But yeah, so tell me, how did you get started in the industry?
I was a claims adjuster, a property claims adjuster, and decided I want to be an agent. And I went back to be an agent. IICRC. I kind of do everything at the same time.
Okay.
And then John dragged me into working for Metro.
Now, but let me ask you this: how did you even find out about claims adjusting now?
My mother found an advertisement for Kemper Insurance.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Yeah,
you've been doing this since you were a young buck?
35 years.
What? Okay, wonderful. So what
I'm
year?
only a little gray in the I'm only a little gray in the muzzle these days. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got a mullet growing, I see.
Um. Yeah. Well, I'm in Hickland, and if anybody's ever talked to Steve Smith, I become a redneck as soon as I hit the Mason Dixon. You know.
I see. Okay, perfect, perfect. So you know, from there you've just seen it all, then, right? What about like new adjusters? What if your take from new adjusters now versus new adjusters back then?
New adjusters now get 3 weeks training and they get sent out. There's a lot of need for adjusters with no training.
Yep.
So if you can have a fourth, rate adjuster out there, they're going to be a cat adjuster. Their job is to pacify 80% of the population. They will accept it. Mayhem is not your friend. State Farm agent, Jake is not your friend.
Hmm.
Um, I was explaining that your agents are not your friend.
Even though you're an agent yourself.
Huh?
I said, even though you're an agent yourself.
Well, I can say that with all sincerity because I protect my client and I'll explain the facts of life to them. You don't want to take the policy? You're going to take it for $50 less somewhere else? Just don't come crying to me after the fact. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah, I just saw one farmer's policy surface replacement on, they have like these three options surface replacement on each and every single one. And the homeowner's like, but I got $1,000 deductible. And I'm like, yeah, but you're better off with this $5,000 deductible and no roof payment, schedule there, because you're going to end up at about the same amount, if not worse, as
yes
time
and no,
goes on.
Abahi, because they're not going to put away that $5,000 if something happens to the roof.
Which I'm fine with, right? But then if you're going to get a 12-year-old roof is going to have 3+% depreciation, you're still going to get hit with at least $4,600 that you was
And I'm
thinking.
not disputing they should be taking a regular roof with no roof schedule and a lower deductible.
Right, and that's what they're searching for. So when you see new adjusters or like what would you say like would be their biggest challenge versus, what skills or could they be learning?
Well, a new adjuster, I would say a new rep. We were discussing from the rep standpoint. Read a policy, learn that policy backwards, forwards, left, and right. We don't have enough adjusters. I guess I'll say you guys don't have enough adjusters since I technically don't work for Metro. To basically give them BS claims because they will not look at your claims. They will CWP. CWP is closed without pay. If you give them a bunch of BS, they will gravitate to the ones who don't give it to them. Is
Okay.
that accurate, Abahi?
Um, well, I guess I'm thinking because you work, I mean, I'm more thinking towards the overall, like not just public adjusters, but claims adjusters too. Because
Well, from a
that's
claims adjuster, they're going to be handed the stuff. If we have a storm, the insurance company is required to see all those claims in 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So the first line goes out there and writes 2/3 the claim. Now, the people don't know any better. I mean, if you argue with them, 10% will argue. The other 10% will hire the public adjuster who will argue with them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
80% take the money and run, and then you're going to have a small percentage that you don't piss off the agent. I can't piss off the insurance company. You're lying, you're manipulating, you're cheating, you're inflating the claim. We've all had it.
And I get this question a lot. I wonder if you ever get it. Can I shadow you?
No, can I plagiarize you is what they do.
So with that, do you let people shadow you though?
I've offered to do so. I've
Mhm.
taken them out. I am their associate. I don't work for Metro. I'm their associate. I'm the mouthpiece.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've always found it challenging to try to have people shadow me because it slows me down, number
Mhm.
one. And then number two, what's really in it for me? What am I going to charge you, $1,000?
Not even.
Right?
That's why Metro has the mentoring program. When you're a new adjuster,
Which is free.
And
Or
that's not free.
okay, no out
It
of
ain't free.
pocket. It doesn't cost out of pocket. You pay
You're
after
paying
you start.
5% of the claim to your mentor.
That's true. That's true. That's
Used to
true.
be 10%. I help people out for free because it's just what goes around, guys, comes around.
Yeah.
Yeah, your blessings will come.
Um, and so you mentioned the policy. So Exactimate not as important.
Not for a rep, for an adjuster, it's extremely important.
Okay.
Um, most adjusters, according to Elena Wilson, do not know how to use Exactimate or not Exactimate certified.
That's the Exactimate lady that's on YouTube.
Absolutely,
Exactimate
Exactimate
Mastery.
Mastery, yes.
Yeah. She says most adjusters don't know how
They
to
don't.
use.
They're not certified. Do not know how to use Exactimate correctly. Steve Harmon, who's one of the 10 Exactimate trainers authorized by Exactimate, say the same thing.
Mm.
So what's your probability of or percentage of the people that will be getting trained as the field adjusters from Metro? What do you think? Do you think they're going to last, or the probability of them not being able to follow through because of what you just said?
I've looked at enough estimates, and the body knows. I pick apart everybody's estimate equally. I pick apart my own. I will do the same estimate 6 to 10 times because I remember I forgot something in there, or it just doesn't look right to me. I'm very critical of myself, but I will send the ESX to the adjusters so I can teach, so I can show them what they're missing, or how to get a little bit more money, or why you're not going to get something. The problem with the public adjusting side of it is there's fluff, and the insurance company says you can't have fluff, not allowed. We just got pushback on one I'm doing in, I think it's Arizona. Don't quote me on it. And the insurance company says you can't have Milica and Silica in there because it wasn't done by our restoration company. It's not necessary. Well, as the body knows, that rule was put in by OSHA by 1923. I am protecting the homeowner, I'm protecting the worker. I'm required to, as a boss and doing restoration, mitigation, repairs, you're required to protect everybody from that Milica dust and the silica dust.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, bye.
So, yeah, I love you and your estimates, okay? I'm not just coming for the cookies, okay? I love you too. But I've introduced you to several people too. Are you overloaded? Like, how do you manage your time? And are you thinking about building a team for yourself? Or how many people do you have?
Right now I have, there's 2 of us and we are going to expand
Okay.
to 3 more. Am I
Okay.
overloaded? Depends on the day. Now, the only one, well, Kay would know Uncle Johnny. Johnny keeps me hopping all over the country. I am a traveling appraiser.
Okay.
I've been out to Seattle. I will go out to Arizona, Indiana, Virginia, Georgia, and everything in between, up to Rhode Island, New England, wherever necessary to help people out.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. So, would you be a trainer for people who are trying to get into either side of the ball game?
If I'm in the area, I wouldn't mind stopping and talking to people and working with them and taking them out by the hand and saying, you know, this is a piece of sheetrock. You know,
Sure.
this is, you know, we have studs and, you know, we have studs behind it. What do you think? What's the code? I mean, we did it. I did this for Metro back in 2018. I was in the Georgia office every 3 weeks teaching.
Oh, nice. Because I live here in Georgia. And if I had known that, shoot, I feel like I can set some people up in your area, like any area you're traveling to, and see if there's at least 1 or 3 people who will be happy to assist. Now, I see some training classes that people do. Like one I see online right now, they have this like fake roof inside, and people are supposed to like, take the chalk and they draw across it. There's no storm damage on there because it's never been outside, I don't think. But they go up on there. Would you recommend people taking those training type of classes, or is there better training
I
for
would tell everybody to be IICRC certified
in what?
in water.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is most restoration companies do not want to invoke or involve an industrial hygienist, the person who's going to tell you protocol for water damage and microbes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't like the word mold because until we test it and we show it, we use the word microbes. There's no difference in protocol. You go in there, you do a flood cut. A flood cut is either 2 feet, 4 feet, guys. You take out the insulation, you put an antimicrobial, which is no more than a bleach and water together. You spray it, you clean their joists, studs, whichever, and then you go back with a sealer, whether it's Zinzer or something to that effect. Microbes like 3 things: a food source, humidity, and darkness. Keep a couple of lights on, you've taken away one. You take away the insulation, you deal with the food source, which is the cellulose or the wood, and then you treat it for over a period of time. And that's why I said IICRC, for water.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Okay.
we lose that. And the insurance companies don't want to pay for that.
Yeah. I had a mitigation company say I get paid O&P on every job, and I mean my heart just dropped. I couldn't believe it. Every single one, and they did get paid on this
They
claim
do.
that I'm working with them on now. And I'm like, but they go over the trades, but when you actually read the language, you should pay O&P on every job.
Technically, you should.
But not maybe 10 and 10 every time. You know, I don't even know if it should be or should not. If you're only doing 1 day, 2 to 3 day job.
They're entitled to it. The way they get around that is they're working for the homeowner. They're not working for the company. And if you charge the homeowner, the insurance company is required to pay it. There have been court documents. Merlin has sent out court documents on that, guys.
Are you
Okay.
saying, Glenn, are you saying you as the mitigation company or you as the public adjuster?
You as the mitigation company are entitled to it.
Okay.
You won't get it because if you're part of the programs or you don't want to subject your customer to the fight. Because there will be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
But
So you work with a lot of mitigation companies, Glenn?
yes.
Okay.
I mean, I run crews up in Pennsylvania. I do mitigation estimates for Fast Pro, which is the other half of Doyle Adjusting in Pennsylvania. I'm working with one Bahi suggested I work with down in Georgia. Actually, hopefully two. Serenity, I might be doing work with Serenity, Bahi.
Yeah, I try to introduce you to everybody. I mean, the one girl out in lower Illinois.
She was a sweetheart.
Yeah, you know, anybody, because you do great stuff. I mean, you make my life a whole lot easier, and you're very fair. I mean, you're
Yeah.
super fair as far as things go. But I mean, you have so much knowledge. I'm just like pricking your brain as to you know, build, especially building your team, because I mean, you've been doing it for 35 years. Are you still energized by it?
I wouldn't be in West Virginia, you know.
Dumb
See,
question.
the appraiser blew me off 2 weeks ago as I'm sitting in front of the house for a little old lady who the insurance company has messed with for the last 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to do an appraisal, and we finally got a hold of him, and he was on a quote unquote murder trial jury. Now I had confirmed the week before, that Friday, and this is Thursday. He knew. He just doesn't want to see me.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, that's really what it boils down to.
The reason why
Yeah.
I asked you about the mitigation company, because I just spoke with two mitigation companies, but this one that I did speak with, I sent her some information already, and I think I got to wait for the boss to come back off of vacation. But I definitely would like for you to connect with them because you are very, very knowledgeable.
With the various credentials and doing this for so long and seeing it from the various sides of it, Renee, you have to be fair. I go
Right.
from working for John, and Kay knows this, the sky, the moon, and throwing the kitchen sink, to being I'm also an independent adjuster, so I see every side of it. You know,
That's great.
you have to.
You have a
Well,
wealth of knowledge.
yeah, so I guess one of my last questions then would be, well, let me tell you, last question today, because you know I call with questions.
Especially when we
Um,
do dinner, you always come up with at least half a dozen questions.
let me tell y'all how much of a nerd I am, and Glenn just lets it roll by. I come with policies to Applebee's, and I'm drinking and eating while I'm going through. Glenn, explain this to me. Explain this to me. Am I reading too much into it? Yep, you are. Dang, am I not gonna win this one? Nope, you not. Yeah. So that's our dinners together. I usually bring policy to dinner because I want to pick his brain.
Well,
Um,
I do this with everybody. I start in Georgia and weave my way through the Carolinas. You know, it's just too much fun. I mean, I enjoy. Do you ask me a question? Do I still have the same zeal? I still, because I'm helping people. This is
yeah,
why I do what I'm doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it too, is of course
Yep.
the helping people. What would you say is the hardest part about the IICRC certification? Maintaining it, or is the
No,
okay? Is the
utilizing it, because you
okay?
guys get it, but no one
Mhm.
knows really what it means.
So like the book, like I mean, studying the book is helpful, but I mean, should somebody be going out there trying to work with a mitigation company to find out more? Like how, I mean, how can we start to utilize
Well, you could utilize. You could look at their estimates
the
and
mid
find
the
out
mid
why they're doing
estimate,
what they're doing.
the mitigation?
No.
You ever? What did you
Mm-hmm.
find? Do you have enough equipment in there? Are you following the guidelines? You know, if you have a water damage, you have a dehumidifier, you're supposed to have a air mover because there's
Okay.
a form of psychometric, formula that says you take the air mover, it puts the moisture in the air, and the dehumidifier pulls it from the air and it gets rid of it. Well, if
Okay.
you don't have it set up properly, or the guys don't know how to set it up properly, they're not really doing the job properly. Then you question, do I want to use this mitigation company? Are they doing this because they want just to put more equipment in for more day, or are they actually doing the job properly? because a lot of the insurance companies are now going to argue. But,
Okay.
you know, if they brought out the mitigation company, they're responsible. If, you know, your homeowner got the mitigation company, they're responsible. You know, they will cut down the bill. And then what will happen is your customer signed off saying, whatever the insurance company doesn't pay, we will pay.
Mhm.
Now, earlier I was chatting with someone in one of my Facebook groups, and some lady, she professed to, well, she claims that she calls mitigation companies and she's able to reduce their pricing. I don't know, is that a good thing? Because she's paid by the insurance companies.
She's paid by the insurance company. They all
Yeah.
have it. They all
Yeah.
will send it out and
Mhm.
make sure that your mitigation company is using the proper protocols and not overbilling.
Is that a good thing?
It's a good thing for all of us.
Okay.
Well, what do you mean overbilling? What do you mean by overbilling? Like, how much should we be like looking at that's fair?
Okay. I mean, if you went to the IICRC course, Renee, and they taught you that you should have, I have a 10 by 12 room, argument's sake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in there, and I have four corners, it's square. I mean, there's nothing funky about this room. I may have four air movers in a circle and one dehumidifier. Now, if I had 6 air movers in there, the insurance company is going to come back and question, why do I have 6? You know, when 4 is sufficient, maybe 5, argument's sake. You know, and then it also goes by the pints per day for the dehumidifier. So if I have industrial size in there for 5 days, I might have over dehumidified, you know, or dried out that room too much, and everything's going to start, you know, the sheetrock's going to start, you know, shrinking. So is the framing. You've dried it out too much. But then again, you're overbilling because of the equipment. You know, that's what I mean by overbilling.
That makes sense. Okay.
Now, how many
Wow.
mitigation companies out there are honest?
That's a good question. It all depends, because if they're under the programs, Alacrity or something to that effect, they're working on behalf of the insurance company. You know, they're going to do the least amount because they're being dictated to by the insurance company. If you have an independent, they aren't doing anything except doing the, you know, the mitigation, remediation, whatever you want to call it, demo. It depends. I mean, that's tough to say.
Okay.
So I got a question,
both
Glenn.
sides.
So if I wanted to utilize your services, I can't go through Metro, can I? Because I want you to be the one to do it in Virginia.
No, you would hire Steve Smith to do the adjusting in
Okay.
Virginia.
Okay.
I would end up doing the estimate for Steve.
Okay.
I'm the unofficial estimator, it seems, that no one acknowledges.
The unofficial official estimator. The official
Everybody
unofficial.
knows about me, but no one, you know, but my name's never on the piece of paper. And the reason why it's done that way, Renee, is if I have to go and do the appraisal, I don't exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have the luxury when I write an estimate, I can pick on the person who wrote the estimate because 80% of the time it's me. You know, it's very easy to take the fluff out.
How you gonna pick on the person who wrote the estimate? You wrote it.
I do it all the time. It's
It
It's
may
too
be
much
you,
fun.
Ibai. It may be you.
No, it's him. That's the thing. He's picking on himself, and then he scrapes things out that not supposed to be there. And then I'll be like, "That's it. That's all you got in the appraisal." And it's like, well, you know, it was already some fluff in there, which is
And
cool.
you usually make money on the appraisals, if I.
Yeah, I do. Hold on, I do.
I
And let
know.
me ask you this: what's your routine? Do you have a routine?
In respect to what?
Like, you know, you get up, you do your appointments first. Do you have an office day? You do
Oh no, I
kitchen day?
start my day at 5:30 in the office.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and then I may get lost for the rest of the day in the office.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
But if I'm on the road, then you know I bring the office with me.
Right. And
My
then
day doesn't stop.
yeah,
You know,
I gotcha.
I've done a lot of training in the middle of hotel rooms. You know, I get picked on all the time that I'm Cindy, but that's okay. You know.
No, that's all right. Well, I mean, I appreciate you coming on and
My
giving
pleasure.
us some fodder and things of that nature. I apologize. I thought it was a 7:30 start time. I was looking, I was like chillaxing, cleaning out my car because I just taught earlier at 6 and I got one more meeting at 8:30 tonight for something. I just would say any final words for people who may be in their second career or they're thinking about becoming an adjuster, but they're not sure where to start or how if this is the right career for them.
Well, Metro is a decent company. You know, um, it depends which side of the fence you want to be on. I'm going to be honest with you. You can make just as much money as being a rep as you are as an adjuster. You know, find the claims. I mean, you get 20% to 30%, or you be a regional manager if that's what you choose to do. You could be anywhere in the country as long as you have a license.
Yeah. I love that. And I recently, because Steve Smith isn't going to Ohio right now, and me taking over those claims, I'm like, just trying to get them done fast. They're not the big nuggets because a lot of them are wind and rain, but they're nuggets coming in, and the nuggets add up. I'm not leaving the house. I mean, most of them are 1 to 2 hours worth of negotiating, and that's not bad for $600. You know, so it's a good deal, and plus I'm helping people. Many homeowners are getting help, and my rep is getting help because she's going from the notary business to adjusting because the notary business is slow because housing is slow. So, that housing market changes a lot. And luckily for us, we have very little fluctuation when it comes to things that are outside of our control.
I mean, I'll give you guys one last piece of advice.
Okay.
If you go into an area and just look at roofs, and then go back to Medcor or Metro and get a hail and wind report.
Right.
Knock on a couple of doors and just say, listen, I noticed you're missing a couple of shingles. Did you have a roofer? I mean, has anybody approached you? Let's take a look at your policy.
Yeah.
See whether it's worth putting that claim in today.
Yep.
Be
I
proactive.
have roofers who really mess homeowners up by not looking at that policy, man.
Right.
Not looking at it.
And you guys are now, being, you're not being proactive, you're being reactive.
Exactly.
And you're handling nothing but the crap.
Yep.
Because, there's a policy problem. I mean, we're doing this in Virginia with a roofer. Work with a roofer, guys. Find a roofer, find a plumber,
I found one. Yep. Yeah.
Find an HVAC person. Tell them that we'll look at the claims prior to them being submitted. There's the key, prior to being submitted.
Okay.
Cool.
Because then you'll know when to submit it.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. You are great, Glenn.
Renee,
You
why
are really.
wasn't your camera on?
I don't know. It was on when I was in Zoom, and I came in here and it was off. I'm like, I've been trying to switch. Nothing. So I like forget it.
You got something on there over your camera, probably. You holding the phone
I
up.
did. I opened it up. I went into it and everything, and I clicked all the buttons and nothing, no picture.
Well, Mr. Gilbert, no, that's your father. No, just kidding. So Glenn,
Hey, I'm getting up in age. What can I tell you?
I just appreciate you so much.
My pleasure.
I mean, you helped me out, and you helped me out, and I appreciate your patience with me paying you sometimes because
It's okay. My
slow.
life's not
Not
going to
just
change.
you pay, I pay slow. I pay Glenn slow too. So, but you always come through, no matter what
I try.
need, no matter when I'm calling, no matter how small the question, you are always there, and I think
We
that is
try.
right. That's a good business model.
Wait
That
a
you
minute,
have
Glenn.
here.
I need your number before you leave because I don't have it.
Well, I
Okay.
think they can send it to you, but other than that, Glenn,
Okay.
I will be, calling you.
I suspect you will be.
All right, see y'all.
Thank
Take it easy,
you.
guys.
Glenn, thank you,
Enjoy.
Glenn.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
Thank
everyone.
Glenn.
Guys.
Bye.
Pleasure
You're a
meeting you,
wealth
Chuck.
of, you're a wealth of knowledge, man. I'm
Yep.
learning a lot.
Just ask Chuck, ask for my telephone number. Anytime you have a question, feel free to call.
Yep. I
Hey,
want it.
answer.
I want it, Kay.
Thank you, Renee.
No, I'll send it over. I'll send
Okay.
over his
All
information.
right, we'll talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye bye.
All right.